Welcome everyone, this is Yduck, and I've got another replay, this time on Newkirk Precinct. In the bottom left, spawning as the blue Terran, we have Team Liquid's Taeja. And his opponent, spawning in the bottom right, is another Terran. This is the Ukrainian player playing for Team Empire, Kos. So I think looking at the matchup, a lot of people are going to say that Taeja is the favorite here, as he is a Korean and he's won so many championships and he's done so well. But don't ever count out Kos. He is a pro gamer as well. So anything can happen. An interesting position of the first depot, putting it on the left side of his base. Sort of an early scout. I'm not sure why it's over here. Usually players put it at the ramp. And starting off with the barracks is Kos. On the other hand, he's just starting off with a refinery. And now Taeja's sending out his SCV to build the barracks at the ramp. Maybe going for some early Reaper, scouting and harass. And that is one effective build for Terrans versus Terrans in this mirror matchup, is to build a lot of Reapers. And if the other player is going for Marines, for example, if the Reapers get a couple hits in and then run away and regenerate, then come back in and do the rest of the damage to kill the Marine, that's very effective. So I've seen it work before. You can build 3, 4, 5 Reapers, totally surprise your Terran opponent. We'll see what Taeja's going to do here very quickly. He's got 3 SCVs on gas. Cass also has 3. His refinery is just up, and they're, well, Taeja's not getting it, but Cass is getting his orbital command up and running. Now Taeja is starting it as well. No Reapers, instead of Marines coming out for Taeja. He just wanted the gas for the early factory. And once again, Cass has built a supply depot to the left of his base. These supply depots are going to give additional range for scouting for drops. He'll be able to react a few seconds earlier than if he did not put the supply depots here. And this is a very interesting position. And most players do not do that. Taeja is opting for the natural block off into his main. The SCV is going to work on the other SCVs, but he's not able to do too much damage. Cass has to be careful here. Might lose the SCV for nothing. The Marines are not able to destroy the scouting SCV from Cass, but the factory is built for Taeja. Now he's building mines with the starport coming out as well. So Taeja's going to be going for a Marine and mine drop, while Cass is getting a second command center and a factory. Supplies are nearly even. Taeja's also getting... Or no, I'm sorry, that's not Taeja. Alright. The damage SCV is coming back home. Oh, it's so good to be back, guys. Hey, when you're damaged like that, definitely. I'll be a little bit interested if the mine drop is successful and if splash damage kills this SCV. I'm a little bit curious, so we'll have to pay attention to that. Kos is getting his starport up now, but gotta be wary as Taeja's medevac is almost completed. And the 2 mines and 4 Marines are waiting. They are completed. All they need is that driver. Pick them up, and he starts boosting away immediately. It's gonna be another 10 seconds or so before he reaches Cass's base. And these supply depots, maybe they'll pay off for Cass, as they are gonna be able to scout just a second or 2 earlier. And now Taeja might be switching over to Banshee harass. And here comes the drop, the 2 Widow Mines. There's lots of Hellions and Marines here too. Taeja's looking for a place to drop, but the Hellions and Marines are basically there. He's going to have to boost away. There's still this Widow Mine over here, and there's no natural to harass. So Taeja's a little bit disappointed. He'll just drop the mine at the natural, blocking the command center. There's still this mine over here to the left of Taeja's base, but Taeja's going to unburrow. He's going to pick up and drift away while he's getting a Banshee and cloaking behind this. So unfortunately, that drop was very inefficient for Taeja. It put him behind a lot because Cass does have his second up and running already. And he's going to lift off and going to plant down, but the mine is blocking. So a scan will have to be used to clear up this Widow mine. And while all this is going on, Cass has his own drop coming. He has 7 Marines in there, but he sees even more Marines able to scout out that Banshee. Going to try and take down that tech lab on the starport. Cass thinks better of it. The medevac is taking damage from the Marines. At the same time, there's 6 Hellions coming in, but there is a tank protecting the ledge. I don't think Cass can do too much here. Loses half his Marine force. At the same time, while Taeja has his Banshee waltzing into Cass's base, he gets cloak on as there is a Viking for defense. There are no missile turrets. One is going to be planted down at the main. And that's one thing that you have to be careful about. As the scan goes down, Taeja's going to be able to escape. So that's a very good trade, as another scan will have to be used to take down the Viking. And a mule is about 250 minerals. A Banshee is about 250 resources, and a scan is 250 resources if you're going to use it for a mule instead. So if you have to use 2 scans, you're actually paying for the Banshee. And this is an interesting play. He's force firing on his own command center, trying to hit the Widow mine. And this Banshee's going to come in here again, and is he going to get taken out? No! Once again, it's not taken out. He's got 3 Vikings there. Was able to take out the mine. But once again, this Banshee is paying for itself through scans. Maybe not through taking out SCVs, but taking out the scans definitely. And it's piling up the scans. And not only that, because he used the scan over here, he wasn't able to use the scan at the natural to clear out the mine. So that was lost mining time. So very effective for 0 kills Banshees. It would be much better if he's able to kill a lot of SCVs. Actually, this Banshee has 3 kills. And Cass is just through with it. He's building missile turrets everywhere in his base. He's got 1 at the ramp. He's got 1 in each base as well. The Banshees are not going to be able to harass that much anymore, or at all. Supplies are evening out, so even though Taeja opened up with a risky opening, wasn't able to capitalize, was not able to do any damage other than delaying his opponent, he's now evened it up quite a bit. Resources lost are fairly even. And this 1 Viking from Taeja wants to run away. There's 3 on his tail. And this is a pretty good position for the barracks. It's above this little skyscraper building here. So this barracks is able to scout out. But if there are any air units, it's not going to be that useful, as the Vikings will take down that barracks. But if it's just a Marine, Medic, Marine, and Marauder force, the barracks will be able to scout out those things. And we got 4 Hellbats trying to drop in here through 2 medevacs, but they think better of it, as there are 2 bunkers right here on the left and right of the natural of Taeja's base. So that drop's probably not going to be very effective. Plus, there's siege tanks and Marines here. So the medevacs are going to have to rethink what their strategy is going to be. +1 weapons is finished. The Banshee's finally going to get taken out by Cass. Cass is opting for a machine mech build. He's got his 3rd command center up. And he's going to drop off the Hellions. He's not going to bother anymore. He does have the pre-igniter upgrades. So these Hellions, even though they don't do that much damage... Actually, he doesn't have it. So this is actually the old patch. Okay, this is actually the old patch where Hellions were not nerfed. So I'm a little bit surprised that both players didn't go for early Hellion drop, or not Hellions, Hellbat drops. As Hellbat drops were the name of the game in TVT, and actually in every matchup with Terran, basically everyone went Hellbats because they're so effective against workers. So this game is interesting. And this other Banshee's going to get taken out. Oh, no. Was able to activate Cloak immediately. Gonna shoot down some SCVs. When is the scan going to come down? It's taking out 2 SCVs. 3. Even though the medevacs are healing. And finally, he's taken down. The range of the missile turret was able to detect it, and the Banshee goes down. And if you take a look at the supplies, it's very strange because Taeja's actually taken a 10 supply lead, even though at the beginning of the game he was behind because his drop did not work and Cass got his second orbital command up very quickly. So Taeja's been able to come back from behind and take a lead. Mind you, his upgrades are slightly behind, at least for weapons, as the mech upgrades for Cass is almost done level 2, while Taeja just started level 2 bioweapons. And here come 5 Hellions. They're going to come in here to the bunker, but Hellions are horrible against bunkers. They're going to take out a couple SCVs here that are constructing supply depots and focus down this missile turret as well. At the same time, the huge engagement at the third of Cass's base. The siege tanks doing everything they can. Hellbats are in front, trying to burn down the Marauders. There's a drop in front of the tanks. The tanks are not able to focus fire. Now the Hellbats are gone, so the tanks are able to do their job. Cass only has 2 tanks here, pulling off SCVs off the third, putting a mule in front. Taeja's just putting a manor mule. I don't know if this is a manor. Yeah, this is a manor mule. He's not doing anything. But I don't think Taeja's won the game. He has put a lot of damage onto Cass. Cass is going to siege up. The SCVs are being pulled off the line again, and now Cass is going to have to lift off his third. He's going to try and drop the Hellbats onto the army, but that's not going to work. There is a Viking in this composition from Taeja. It's finally going to scare away this group from Taeja. While all that's going on, Taeja is getting his 4th. And Cass is putting down his 3rd again. So now Cass is at a huge deficit. Taeja's going to have 4 bases. Cass lost a lot of mining time and a few SCVs, and his army supply is not nearly as large as Taeja. Taeja has a 26 supply advantage, and this Viking is now wreaking havoc on these medevacs. There's no Marines here, and there's no Vikings. There's no anti-air, so there's one Viking's going, wow, this is great. It's like shooting ducks in a barrel. Now, if Taeja was microing this Viking better, I think the turret might be in range very soon. Have to be careful here. You have Taeja pulls it away, able to take down one medevac, not able to take down another one. And now there is a siege tank wall here just outside of Cass's 3rd. The siege tank wall is now attacking his refinery. Taeja's got Cass boxed in. Cass can still go through the north and try to do something here, but his units are not really in position to do that. He's got a whole bunch of Hellbats, but they're behind the siege tanks. And now the siege tanks are under fire. The Hellbats are trying to do everything that they can. The siege tanks siege up and are able to destroy a few units of Taeja, but Taeja's built up a huge supply advantage. Resources lost don't really tell the story. It looks like it is fairly even, but Taeja does have a significant supply advantage, as I said, and he does have his 4th. At the same time, he's getting +3 weapons, and Cass is no longer upgrading weapons or armor, so it's 2-2 versus 2-0, and now Taeja's going to wait it out. Taeja's just going to wait it out. He knows Cass is behind in bases, and these Hellbats, Cass is not microing the Hellbats, they're just going to be destroyed for nothing. 2 more medevacs are going to try and come in, but they think better. Now there's indecisiveness. They went back and forth, and now they're not going to bother. The orbital command is under attack. Cass is going to have to repair or lift. Either way, it's going to hurt his economy even further. And Taeja's going to go in there with Stiv, Marine, and Marauders. Interesting that there's no medevacs in this group. All the medevacs were at the top. Unfortunately, the Hellbats ate through the top force. The force at the bottom has been able to force the lift off. But I don't think that was a very good trade for Taeja. If you take a look at the supplies, they've evened out a lot. And now resources lost has evened out a lot as well. 3 medevacs are going to boost in here, drop the Hellbats on top of the siege tanks. A lot of the siege tanks have been destroyed, and it looks like Cass has pulled back into this game. Taeja's going to have to retreat here as this burnt Marine Corps. Look at how toasty he is. The Vikings are firing down on the medevac, so Cass has reclaimed his third, and the momentum shift has now gone back to Cass. Initially, I thought Cass had no way of getting back. I thought Taeja had a very good stranglehold on him, but Cass has valiantly fought back and is now taking back his third. Taeja still has 4 bases, so Taeja still has the economic advantage, but Cass now has a chance as he's evening out the supplies. He's doing everything that he can. He's got to get the 4th up. Unfortunately, Taeja's not going to let that happen. Taeja has 3 siege tanks that are now going to get picked off as harassing the SCV line. The Hellbats are doing what they can. They're just burning down the tanks. But at the same time that's happening, the Marines and Marauders are going to step in here, destroy all the tanks at the 3rd. And the Marines and Marauders are going to cut away from the Hellbats. But the boost of the medevac are able to drop the Hellbats directly on this Marine and Marauder ball. And now the Marine and Marauder ball is having some problems here. The Hellbats are doing a lot of damage. Cass has been able to thwart attack, and he's going a little bit into the middle of the map, but is not able to destroy this bio ball. So Taeja's going to heal up here. He still has a 20 supply advantage and is getting his 5th. His 5th is up and running now. But Cass does have his 4th. So 5 to 4 bases is still good for Taeja, but not as good as 4 to 3. Taeja's going to be going for a drop here. He's got 2 medevacs at the top of the map. The Marine is actually just walking away. It's unfortunate. If the Marine was left there for another few seconds, he'd be able to scout it out. At the same time, Taeja's going to be running a diversionary force at the left of Cass's 3rd base, able to fire down on those Hellbats. And at the same time, he's dropping all these Marine Marauders at the 4th. The Mules and SCVs are running away. Cass has been able to repel this attacking force at the 3rd, but now his planetary fortress is destroyed. It was fully upgraded, so he couldn't cancel and then lift. Very unfortunate for Cass, and now I'm not sure how Cass is going to be able to come back, as Taeja has 5 bases to Cass's 3. Cass is really behind, and even though Taeja's lost more resources, he also has many more resources to spend. Army supply is still in favor of Taeja by about 15 supply. There's 3 medevacs here going for a counter drop. Gonna see what kind of damage it can do. It's got 5 Hellbats. Marine Marauders are able to snipe off that Vespene Geyser of Cass's. These medevacs are going to drop here at the 3rd of Taeja's. They're gonna boost, and they're gonna drop in there. 2 shots, and all these SCVs are dead. That's a lot of dead SCVs. So about 10 SCVs were picked off. That's a very good move by Cass, but he's going to have to keep having engagements like that if he wants to win. But there's a line of missile turrets into the main. Marines and Marauders waiting at the 3rd, so now that drop force is going to have a lot of problems doing any more damage. And Cass still has not gotten his 4th up and running. He's built his 4th command center again, and actually he's going to possibly try and get this 4th instead where the debris is, but not going to be able to do that as there is an attack at the natural. 2 medevacs drop a whole bunch of Marauders down, and Marauders make quick work of buildings. There goes the refinery. And this lone Marauder's left alone here, and he's like, no, dudes, what are you doing? Oh, wow, that's a lot of blood. Man, that's one big blood. Anyways, a lot of Vikings and Banshees are firing down these siege tanks at the 3rd as Castle is pulled away to deal with the Marauder force. There's no anti-air here, so these 2 Banshees are just going to town. Finally, the Vikings come in from Cass, and there's more Vikings from Cass, but all of the Vikings from Cass were in the red and orange. So now Cass has lost air control as well. He's landed his Vikings. If the Banshees come back, they're going to do a lot of damage. Cass is going to put down missile turrets. At the same time, his 4th is under attack again from Marines and Marauders. So he's going to have to pull his Hellbats and siege tanks to deal with this. The burning command center. Unfortunately for Taeja, this entire group is going to be destroyed, but he's running in here with Steam Marines and Marauders, and I don't think Cass can recover from this. He's down by 50 supply. There's attacks happening at his natural ramp. The Hellbats are doing everything they can. He's actually got a Thor. Cass has a Thor to pick on these Marauders. But he's far too behind, and the tech switch is complete. Now there are 2 battle cruisers heading into the fray. The missile turrets are going to do what they can, but they're not that effective. The siege tanks are picking up all these Marines and Marauders, but without anti-air, these battle cruisers are going to eat through all these siege tanks. Taeja has more Vikings, more battle cruisers, and he's going to Yamato down that Thor. Going to be able to destroy 1 battle cruiser. There's still 1 left, and now these siege tanks are completely vulnerable. Cass is going for broke. He says, I'm going to send my entire force, all my Hellbats and tanks across the map, try to do some damage. This Bioforce is just kiting these Hellbats. They don't even need medevacs. They're just tough guys. They just stim and don't give a crap. And the Hellbats are doing significant damage, but remember, Taeja has the bank, he has the bases. Cass finally has his 4th up, but he has no missile turrets. So this 1 battle cruiser is going to be able to do a lot of damage before any missile turrets are built. Not sure why Taeja landed his Vikings so his planetary fortress could attack them. 1 missile turret will finish. I'm not sure why Cass is sending back all his Hellbats and siege tanks. He's not going to be able to do too much against this battle cruiser. A 2nd missile turret will finally go up. This battle cruiser will go down, but there's just too many bio units and battle cruisers behind this. Taeja knows he's got this game. Now it's just a matter of the GG, and there it is. So Cass played a great game, but Taeja played a lot better. Even though Taeja was behind, because remember at the beginning of the game, Taeja went for the 2 mine, 4 marine medevac drop, and Cass had his 2nd orbital command up. Taeja was not able to do any damage, and yet over time he built a supply advantage anyway, and an economic advantage, which is very, very surprising. I would have thought that Cass would have been able to maintain a lead and then would have waited for some sort of encounter where either Taeja or Cass got a favorable encounter, and then that would have been where the momentum changed. But even though there was no encounters, Taeja was still able to get a supply advantage, which is so surprising. And I guess that's why Taeja is who he is. And he's able to claim victory from Cass here on Newkirk Precinct.